F122 is getting closer and closer to its release date of Friday, the 1st of July 2022, and with thanks to EA, I can now share all of the awesome new features and improvements we'll be able to experience within the game. This is a preview build of F122, meaning it's not the final version and that I'm limited on gameplay that I can share with everyone. However, everything I talk about are confirmed features that are coming to the full release of the game. As always, be sure to drop a like rating down below as it really helps others see this video that are interested in this kind of content, and of course subscribe if you're new. Jumping straight into my team, it is making a return within F122 with major updates on how you experience it. It will also feature all of the current F1 teams that you'll see participating in the races, as well as some iconic drivers from the past. Straight off the bat, you'll be given 3 options on how you can start your journey. Newcomer, starting you at the bottom with limited funds and supplies, giving you the rookie kind of experience of the game. Next up is midfield challenger, and as said in the name, you're basically bang in the middle, so we'll have a somewhat decent amount of funding, facilities and so on. And then title contender, which is the final one, and if you want to go easy mode within the game, this is the one to go for. You'll have a huge funding and access to lots of different facilities from the get-go, which is absolutely insane, meaning that you can also hire a top driver to make your life even easier. Once you've selected an entry status, my team will flow on from there, giving you choices as you progress, such as questions asked in an interview to how you handle situations when they arise. For example, if you're testing the airflow within the wind tunnel and choose not to resolve a potential issue, it will affect not only your team, but how you perform within a race. You'll also have rivals as you progress onto a new season, as well as specific targets you'll need to achieve when racing. A more advanced customization also comes with my team, allowing you to customize the design not only for your F1 car, of your own facility, home and more. All of this makes the perfect experience for any kind of F1 fan, whether you're new or dedicated to the sport and video games. You can adjust the difficulty to match your exact playstyle as well, which I'll go into more detail in a separate section. Just like my team, career mode also makes a return with F122 and plays pretty much the exact same as it has in previous games. Now you'll have more track options and event types to choose from, and as well as that, co-op mode is also returning to this and will be available as a local or online mode if you wish to play through some races with a friend. Unfortunately though, for those of you curious about the breaking point mode, it will not be returning to F122. Moving on to some of the updated features. As said at the beginning, there are tons of new and updated features coming to the game. In all honesty, this is pretty much the standard with any game that comes out nowadays that has a series behind it, but to list off some of the more important updates, I'm sure many of you will definitely be happy with them. With general improvements in all aspects, such as new tyre regulations to match it with real life, the same also applies to the overall handling of the car for a brand new experience, and again making it a lot more lifelike. More options to the aerodynamics of the underbody are also introduced, allowing you to go a lot more in depth to potentially improve your performance on the track. Speaking of tracks, 3 of which have been upgraded to keep them as true to the real life one as possible, being the courses located in Australia, Spain and Abu Dhabi. There have also been improvements upon the formation lap if it's enabled within the settings, allowing you to position yourself manually and either more aggressive or defensive depending on your playstyle. Due to the new regulations, the pit stop system in-game has also been adjusted to be a lot more realistic. There are now 2 different styles of pit stops, and of course you can change these whenever you wish to within the settings menu. The first option is broadcast, which basically does everything for you. As soon as you drive into the pit lane, a cinematic of your car will be displayed of it pulling into the bay, having any repairs or tyre changes done. Once done, the camera will then follow the car out of the pit lane, returning you to actual gameplay once you get back into the race. If you go with the immersive option, you'll have a more realistic experience and will be required to turn into the bay at a specific point. If you turn too early or too late, it'll increase the time and potentially give you a penalty. There's also a few more options in regards to pit stops which are included in the assists and difficulty section, which will be covered later on. Now, as well as updated features, we also have a lot of really awesome new features coming to the game, and some of which are pretty surprising. They completely threw me off, especially this first one. For the first time, you can now drive a variety of different supercars within F1 22. Unfortunately, I don't actually have gameplay of this, but I can assure you that this will be a feature coming to the game. Career and My Team feature a specific mode for this, allowing for a hot lap in between race seasons with a specific supercar. Outside of this, there is also a separate menu that includes some on-track modes such as autocross, drift, speed zones and rivals. As well as this, time attack, checkpoint challenges and pursuit game modes are also available. Speaking of, I'll have a list on screen now of the current supercars that will feature in the full game, two of which, being the safety cars, are exclusive to the deluxe edition of F1 22. Another awesome feature is F1 Life, giving you, the player, your own space to customize and show off your trophies, supercars, clothing and more, making each player as unique as possible within the game. F1 Life also acts as a hub for multiplayer lobbies, placing everyone into a location of where the racetrack is set, where you can look around, show off your style and interact with other players. Sprint races have also been added to all of the main modes and can be adjusted within the settings menu if you wish to have them on or not. The adjustments can range from short, which will be a 3-lap sprint race at the specific location you choose, or if you go with the authentic experience, you'll actually end up doing 3 tracks at different locations. And lastly, another huge update for F1 22 is that VR mode is coming for PC players. A heavily requested feature for the F1 games is finally here for those that have access to a VR headset. The best part about this is you can play any mode you want with a VR headset, meaning if you go into a online lobby, for instance, you'll have the exact same experience as everyone, just a lot more immersive. Moving on to the difficulty and the rules, F1 22 is a game made for any player. Whether you're new to the series like myself or like to have a real challenge as a long-time player, you'll be able to customize the difficulty and rules to your heart's content. Whilst I talk about some of the features, I'll have lots of screenshots of the menus, so feel free to pause if you wish to look in more detail. There are 3 core options which can be changed at any time. Casual, a true beginner's route to F1 22, with the easiest options applied, resulting in a lack of changeable options within the menus. Standard, which most people will more than likely play on, and gives you the basic freedom to adjust settings such as driving, pit, and DRS assists. Got with a lisp there, that really didn't go down too well. You can also make changes to the rule set, allowing for more relaxed or realistic experience when you go into a race. And then finally, you've got expert, which is pretty much the same as standard, but you'll have a few extra options to make it as realistic as possible. When I first booted up this build of the game, I was absolutely mind blown at the amount of options we get to adjust within the settings menu. I definitely recommend looking over everything to get the perfect playstyle that fits you. Lastly, I thought I'd go over some questions you may potentially have. F2 is of course returning with F1 22. AI can make both on-track and pit stop mistakes depending on the difficulty options you've got set. Weather affects how you and the AI will drive on the track. Probably an obvious one, but a lot of people are interested in that. The rules are very strict and are as realistic as possible. The same also applies with the driver ratings. Classic fan favorite tracks may potentially return over the course of the game, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. And then in regards to the game as a whole, it is coming to Origin, Steam, and the Epic Store for PC. Then, of course, it's coming to PlayStation and Xbox, so that's obviously PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series consoles. Obviously, depending on the platform you get, there'll be graphical differences, which I'm not too sure on at the moment, but I'll try to cover in a later video. And then there's 2 different editions coming out for F1 22. The Standard Edition comes out on the 1st of July, and then the Champions Edition comes out a few days earlier on the 28th of June. And yes, crossplay will also be coming post-launch to the game. And there we go. Hopefully this this was an excellent insight into EA Sports' latest title and cleared up any questions that you may have had. Of course, if there is anything I have not answered in this video, drop a comment down below and I'll try my best to reply to you if I'm allowed to from the dev team. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you with more F1 22 content very soon. Until then, take care.